Love, light, and blessings. I don't really expect anybody to be on this live, but it's just easier for me to go live. I'm doing laundry, so you're going to hear laundry in the background. So please excuse that. But I literally came live today because I predicted like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, during one of my Gede rituals that I was performing at that time. And Ogun came to me and he had revealed the before the COVID-19 situation happened. Like I already knew there was going to be mass deaths and illnesses and sicknesses. That Hello, how are you doing, Katrina? That particular time, good morning to you and good afternoon to me. During that time, the spirits seem like very slumber because they're very active from like August, sometimes September through December. Like the ancestors are very active during that time. And things come really full circle during Fegede, or for some of you that celebrate Day of the Dead. And right before, right before Christmas, like 2 weeks before Christmas, they're like the most active. So Ogun revealed to me he was in my spirit room in my previous, not this house, but the apartment that I was renting. And because I heard like someone speak in a African language, and at first, it kind of scared me. And I went in the spirit room and he was like showing me visions, like speaking to me, like clairvoyantly. Um, and he was showing me images of like a lot of people passing away, especially brown and indigenous people. If you look back at COVID, it did affect the reservations, the Native American reservations, because they didn't have the same access to medicine. It affected a lot of brown and black people who are a lot of times the ones that were not allowed to stay home during when they had us all closed in. Anyone who worked in medical service industry, all those things. So you could look at the stats yourself. So the spirits has showed me that. At that same Faggiven, I've been saying this to like clients, like whoever has ever gotten like spiritual guidance reading, they've been telling me, like, remember you predicted? I was like, oh yeah, I did predict the COVID. I did predict also that in about 3 years, like during that time, I said about 3 or 4 years, a lot of foreign European and even America was going to suffer like different collapses and breaking down of infrastructures, and things like that. If we look at the recent election, it kind of shows you that, right? A lot of readers were saying, oh, yeah, she's going to win and everything's going to be okay. And they were like predicting all this positive stuff. But if you notice and you look back at my video catalog, I have never read on that. I kind of already knew what was going to happen, but I still was like, hey, you guys should vote and this and that, because I do believe like in the power of manifesting and things like that. And I would never do a political reading to like discourage somebody from, hey, he's going to win, so don't vote. Like I would never do that, right? I feel like that's unethical. But long story short, my spirits were like, hey, there's going to be mass cheating because this election, there was a lot of cheating in this election and all of those things, right? So now we see who's going to be in January the president elect. He's already talking about harming the people in Palestine. He's making threats to them. Okay, I watch a lot. So a lot of people watch, like, I'm going to be honest, I don't watch a lot of spiritual stuff. Hi Lexi, hey love. I don't watch a lot of spiritual content. I'm spiritual all the time, so I watch different things on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok or whatever. But mostly I'll be on YouTube. I watch a lot like celebrity gossip. I watch a lot of political stuff, like independent media. I don't watch CNN, MSNBC. I don't watch any corporate media news because they always hyper fixated like, oh, Biden did a bad debate or Biden pardoned his son. I don't give two craps about that. Like that doesn't affect my everyday life. They don't talk about what they needed to talk about, which Project 2025, how was that was going to affect the American people, what tariffs were. A lot of people voted, didn't even know what a tariff was. So long story short, the spirits already told me what's going to happen. They said that a lot of foreign European powers were going to collapse. Okay. We literally just had an election that pretty much a convict fascist person who wants to enforce Christianity on people as like the only religion, and your kids are going to have to do Bible study in school and whatever the case may be. I know plenty of Christians that are like, I don't like the idea of that, because if you open yourself up to that, that means they could teach other religions, right? There's a separation of state and religion for a reason. Our founding fathers, who were not perfect because a lot of them owned slaves, believed in the separation of church and religion. It's just the truth, I'm going to have a video more talking about that and a bunch of other stuff, but I don't want to focus on that too much. Just want to focus on the prediction stuff, is why I went live. So that's literally happening right now. I said there was going to be economic losses. I predicted this like 4 years ago. Huge economic losses, recession. There was going to be political unrest. There was going to be famine, food shortages, and race wars. Right? When they took out the exit poll, what was the first thing that people started to do? This group voted on this side and this group voted on this side. Look at your social media feed, and you'll see a lot of people within marginalized groups fighting with each other about, well, you need to be responsible because your community voted this way, that way, this, and this is like whole like separation, right? This is stuff that the spirits showed me already. Also, the police showed me there was going to be a war between police and the military. And that's literally happening. They're going to use military people to put people in camps. They're going to declare a national emergency, right? And for people saying that could never happen in America, they put the Japanese people in camps during wartime. That has already happened in America before, in the USA. Okay. A lot of people don't know that, but they have put people in work camps before, during the World War. So this has happened already. Those people lost money. They had to sell their goods. They had to go into, um, um, you know, work camps. He even admitted, I don't know where I'm going to put all these immigrants, so they're going to have to work for, their food and everything. What does that sound like to you? You're not getting paid for work. You're paying for an invisible debt. So it looks like an idea of like sharecropping. Okay. So all the things that the spirit said they told me what's going to happen. I'm seeing it. Okay. The religious war, the fact that they're trying to make everybody align with nationalism, fundamentalist Christianity, because there's different types of Christianity, but fundamentalist nationalist Christianity, I'm going to break it down in a video that I'm going to be making today and releasing it this week, is very dangerous. Fundamentalist Christianity, the form that like has white supremacy in it, because yes, there are forms of Christianity that have white supremacy in it that is a danger to brown, black, queer, and indigenous people. Okay. There was a thing called manifest destiny. Okay. And they had this idea that God chose these colonizers to take over the unhuman or nearly not human indigenous black and brown people. Okay. That's the reason why they were conquesting. They literally felt like God called them to oppress us. And this same sentiment that celebrates the pilgrims. The reason why I do not celebrate Thanksgiving is because from my father's side, I am American Indian, right? I am black by my mother and I am indigenous from my father's side. I have American Indian in me, and I also have indigenous ancestry from the Caribbean. And when I found out the real history of Thanksgiving, I don't judge anybody else for celebrating it. It's actually a celebration of the fact that the very people that the indigenous people helped for that harvest celebration that they had, after that little meal they had, they slaughtered hundreds upon hundreds of them that became over time millions. Okay. They felt that it was their God-given right to unalive these indigenous people because they wanted to spread out their land. That is what people celebrate in the United States. That meal is not this beautiful image of pilgrims and Native Americans eating together. No, these people ended up slaughtering these people, celebrating them, and doing atrocious things. 56 million Native American people were genocide in the name of Christianity, in the name of manifest destiny. 15 million people alone in the United States were brought here in the transatlantic slave trade. And out of the 100, for every 100 body they put on a ship, almost half of them did not make the middle passage and died of illnesses or murder because they tried to do slave uprising. This form of Christianity was never made for our people, but only to oppress our people. They taught our people in a Bible that they called the Negro Bible, that they removed the book of Exodus that talks about freeing slaves and taught our ancestors to be suppressed to them, to bow to them, and over again read verses about slaves obeying their master, whether their master was righteous or not. That is the form of Christianity that they want to take over the United States of America. And I say, we shall not go silent into the night. This is a religious war. Do not fall asleep. This is the time for people that are called through the ancestors to do their shit. I am calling upon every single content creator, every spiritualist that calls themselves a mambo, a hugan, okay, a santero, a babalao. Rise the hell up. Don't fall asleep. They're coming for you. First will be the immigrants, and then it will be those that are opposed to the religious indoctrination of white supremacy and nationalism. That is the message the spirits have. 2 countries already of European power. France government, look it up on Google, just collapsed. This has been foretold to me by the spirits. Germany has collapsed. Look at the bloody history of what Germany did to Black and indigenous people. And it's going to happen in America. We need to level up. We need to seek our spirits. We need to build up generational wealth. We need to build up businesses for our people. This is the time to ally with people of like minds that are not going to go silent into the night. It is time to stop crying about this election and being upset and rise up. Rise up, because you come from kings and queens. You come from powerful God and goddesses. You come from spirits, orishas and loas, that are ready to fight with you, that are ready to fight for you. Why do you think the U.S. demonizes Haiti to this day? Because they were a nation of Black people that freed themselves. They did not wait for a savior to come for them. And the reason why Haiti is suffering is because they indoctrinated 80% of the population practices Christianity. What has Christianity done for Black and indigenous people? It murdered 56 million of my indigenous ancestors. It killed 15 million of my Black ancestors. Stop allowing these politicians to indoctrinate you. Go back to your spirituality. It is time to ally with our Black indigenous brothers and sisters and fight this freaking takeover. It's a takeover. When they come for immigrants, they're going to come for you tomorrow. You have a choice in staying silent and allowing a Nazi lover. Trump says he honors Hitler. I don't know how long this live is going to be, because that's why I didn't want to make a video, because I already know how YouTube is. So I'm going to try to keep this live. Okay? But let me tell you something. We're in danger. My spirits told me this 4 years ago. A lot of that's why I was trying to get people, when they were fighting for the pipelines, the indigenous people, I was begging people on this platform, and it was crickets. The people that call themselves allies never talked about what I was talking about, because I was protesting for that water too. They have been saying, thank you so much, Lexi. They have been saying there's an evil evil spirit of people that are coming for our lands. How can you call yourself spiritual if you're not willing to fight for our lands, our waters, our people? The first Americans that were here, this is not our land. Some of us were brought here involuntarily, and some of us were here already, and our lands were stolen. America has always been a white supremacist country that has literally been built on the bodies and blood of our ancestors. Wake up. Prayers and thoughts ain't gonna do it. We need to organize it. Yes, 3 generations of her indigenous family has been fighting for lands back. That's right. I have ancestry in America that's still fighting for their lands and recognition, because you have indigenous people that only have state recognition and they don't have federal recognition, or because you guys don't speak your native language. Who took away our native language? Who put us in those schools to Americanize our ancestors? And then you're going to say you lost your language? Or you're racially mixed because you forced us to be mixed, because you raped our people and slaughtered our people? What are you talking about? This is why, and I'm not trying to offend nobody, the term Latino was given to us by the slave master. I am not a Latino. I am an indigenous black woman of the Caribbean, and I'm freaking proud of it. They try to lump us together to erase your identity. You know how many people of Mexican descent have indigenous ancestry and they don't even know? Because the first thing they try to do when they enslave you is to rip away your identity. Why do you think they made black women's hair illegal during slavery, where we had to cover our hair? They chopped our hair off. They didn't allow us to do braids. You know, the Bible speaks against us doing braids. And I'm talking about the Christianity in the United States, because do you know that before any slave ship ever came to Africa, Ethiopians and North Africa was already practicing their own form of Christianity 1,000 years before that? Because black people had their own form of Christianity, their own form of Islam, their own form of African traditional religions. The kind of Christianity that's trying to take over America is the slave masters. Is the slave masters form of Christianity. The kind of Christianity that says, I remember being in church, because I used to be part of that type of religion when I was little, and I left. Because I'm like, wow, this makes me hate my indigenous culture. When they would sit there in the pulpit and say that my ancestors were less than human, that the reason why we got enslaved as indigenous people and black people was because we didn't know about God, which is a false narrative, because Christianity was already in Africa 1,000 years before they ever came. That is a lie. That was a lie they used to suppress us. That was a lie to detach us from our African and indigenous roots, to make our religion seem less than human. They want us to see us less than human. This is the same form of religion they're going to try to indoctrinate to your children. They're going to try to indoctrinate that to your children. They're going to make your children ashamed of being anything but a white nationalist. They literally only mean religious freedom for those people. White nationalists also have ties to the KKK. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. We have to open our eyes, and we have to fight. We have to fight. This is the reason why the spirits are allowing us to do this. Because we have to fight. We have to march. We have to create a movement. I'm tired of hearing this group voted for this. I don't care anymore. Because I don't even know if that poll's accurate, to be honest with you. Because I don't even feel like this election was accurate. So I don't care about this poll. You know what I care about? I care about when Black Lives Matters was happening, and I saw people uniting each other. I saw white people in those marches. I saw people that consider Latino in those marches. I saw indigenous people for black people. I saw black people from all different countries. I saw witches for Black lives. I saw a movement. When I was talking about the Dakota pipeline protest, there were so many different nations of First Nation people protesting together, living together in community. Okay, there was so many songs and fundraising and all these things. That is what we need again. People got comfortable in the last 4 years and forgot that we are in a spiritual war for our very existence. But my spirits told me that if we actually fight this time, we're going to win. That we're going to watch in our lifetime these European powers collapse because the spirits are going to give us justice. It's going to be a world that's finally going to have equality. This is our time. This is our time. This is our time, guys. So this is your time to get close to your spirits. This is the time for you to get your spiritual armor. I know that we don't want to watch politics, but there's independent politics that I watch channels because they talk about what's going on in the reservations, what's going on with indigenous people, what's going on in the Black community. That is the type of stuff I watch. I don't watch corporate media because it literally is owned by the elites and they just give you false narratives. You have to. I'm tired of people using the excuse. Well, I don't talk about politics on my channel because I'm an empath and I feel so much and I just cannot. Well, then you don't need to be taking people's money and nobody want to be watching you, because I feel like as spiritual people, this is the stuff we need to be talking about. This is the stuff that we need to be talking about. Because I have people in my family trying to fight for land here, but I also have people in my family that come from Haiti that they're trying to fight the indoctrination of Christianity and what is done to Haiti. And I is also trying to fight for Puerto Rico to be independent, because you have indigenous people in Puerto Rico, Afro Caribbean people in Puerto Rico that are trying to fight for the independence of the island. The youth, the Gen Z, they don't want to be a commonwealth. Gen Z wants to be independent. They almost won this last election if it wasn't for the cheating that happened. Okay? They have been protesting and fighting and showing the media, because I also believe in un Puerto Rico libre. Okay? Because Puerto Rico has been colonized for over 500 years. And the only reason a Puerto Rican has American citizenship is because they wanted us to fight in their American wars when we're not even allowed to vote for the American president. The American president could tell our island what to do, but we don't have full American rights of voting in a president. There is more money siphoned from Puerto Rico, from the United States, than America has ever given to Puerto Rico. And you could see that in the way they treated us during Hurricane Maria, where almost 5,000 people died in the hurricane. 5,000 people. Unheard of in these modern times. We had a year with no power. I have family that died because they couldn't get food to them, and I couldn't mail food to them. And notice the population that they didn't feed. It was the population that lived in the country that were brown and indigenous people. And when I begged the people that I thought were my friends, please let us raise money, nothing happened. And that's why I made that video years ago. Are you really an ally to us? Because being an ally is not just buying tarot decks with brown people in it. It's not just buying decks that are shamanistic decks, which most of those indigenous decks are cultural appropriation anyways. That's not being an ally. Being an ally is speaking up for the BIPOC community. That is what being an ally is. So I'm also calling upon the allies too. If you're a real ally, you need to stop being afraid that you have followers that are MAGA or I'm going to lose money. I don't care. I already drew the line in the sand a long time ago. I'm not going to be quiet about the things I'm passionate about, because that's a disservice to my ancestors. That's all I have to say about that. So I will leave you guys with that because my son is coming home. But I'm just in my feelings right now. I'm disgusted. Like they're literally going to give reparations to cisgendered white men because they're the most oppressed apparently in America. This is what they want to do. And they're not going to be able to tour the White House during the 4 years administration if he gets into office because of all the SA offenders that are going to be in his cabinet. Listen to what I'm telling you. These are pedo SA offenders that are not going to be able to have children in the White House for those 4 years. I agree with you. Yep. When I make decks, I don't include my culture because I'm not selling that. Auntie Casey, you have the same stance that I do because a lot of times people are like, oh, you should write a book for the public. And I do want to make a deck about the laws, but I'm going to keep it like, like information that most people know because I have a thing where like, I don't want everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because I do practice a close religion to have access to certain things because like being initiated into a closed tradition, you're supposed to protect that tradition. We make promises to do that. And a lot of people think oh, you're selfish. No, it's really not that. I do mentor people that have a calling to certain things in private and all that, but I just don't feel like everything's not meant for everybody, you know? And I feel like, yes, like if you share too much, it's like you're almost selling your culture. And I feel like a lot of people, oh yeah, we like these closed traditions, we like these marginalized cultures, but like when it comes time to advocate for us, like ain't nobody saying a damn thing. It's crickets up in here. And it's just exhausting and it's tiring. Like I'm tired of it. Like I'm just tired of it. Like I'm getting emotional because I literally am kind of like shadow banned from some people's content because I kind of called it out. This person was just showing all these shaman medicine people decks or whatever. And I said, that's really offensive to me because like a lot of these terms in this deck, you could tell like not one indigenous person put any input into any of that. And they were just like, no, I know that I'm not of that culture, but like I feel like this they call to me and blah 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 blah. And they'll do that for the ATRs too. Like they'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna buy this deck and I'm gonna like sell services and work with black spirits and all this other stuff with the orishas and loas, but like they have no training, no connection to it. And then if I say something like I'm the bully on YouTube, I'm mean, I think I'm gatekeeping, and I don't see it like that. I see it as we marginalized people have the right to preserve our culture because a lot of our ancestors died for that. Yes, they are suggesting investing as a means of wealth building due to the tariff strategy. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's what I'm saying. I just said that illuminated. And I saw that 4 years ago. I have witnesses that I could put on live. They said, yes, shamanic said that 4 years ago because I've been foreseeing this stuff. These are very, very serious times that we are living in. Like we have to get our spiritual armor. Like we have to get our spiritual armor because I'm telling you, you can mark this on today's calendar too. They're going to come for spiritual people that are outside what they consider normative religions or non-Abrahamic religions. They're going to come for us and they're going to try to silence our platforms. So we have to, yes, exactly. That's why I call myself shamanic, right? The reason why I call myself shamanic is kind of like, how can I say this? They've taken medicine people, First Nations people, and they've like gentrified it and appropriated it. So it was my way of like, the spirits gave it to me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not mockery, but like taking back that false term type of thing. If that makes sense. And then Arawak is because that's my tribe. And priestess is because I'm initiated in various close traditions. But that's why I call myself that. That's why I'm not calling myself the shaman lady. It's shamanic. It's like taking back the word that is not really the correct word because a lot of people call themselves shaman, but it's like you have no indigenous ancestries, no indigenous people, you're making up terms, you're making up weird practices. Like, what are we doing right now? And they do that too with the ATRs too. Like they make up the priestess of voodoo. There's no such thing as a priestess in voodoo either. Now, people might use that term because that's what is a Western term or whatever. because we don't like in my culture, we don't even use the word spell, but I have to put that on my like bio because in Western culture, that's the term they use. So I always put like ritual, spell, or spell working, but we don't really call it that either. We call it rituals in different languages or workings because like spell sounds like Harry Potter. But because I'm in America, people only understand the term spell. So it's like annoying. So, yes. But yes, I agree. I don't know any medicine person that calls himself a shaman either, to be honest. Or they use those decks or any and just do any of the stuff. I don't know anybody in voodoo who does the stuff they be doing online either. Yeah, it was just my way of taking it back. That's all. Cause I got bullied in elementary school a lot. I used to straighten my hair. So I used to get a lot of fetishy behavior, even from like teachers. I had a teacher who sang, you know that count one, little two, little three, little Indians, right? She was singing that in music class. And she knew that I had my dad was indigenous and he used to teach me like dances of my tribe. And I didn't see it like that then because I was like a little kid. I was like 6. She made me perform a dance in front of the kids in school and then told me to slap my mouth. Yeah, while they sang that song to me. And that was a school teacher. So I kind of just wear my hair curly now because I've gotten fetishized in dating because they'll find out I'm part indigenous. When the movie Pocahontas came out, the movie Pocahontas triggers trauma for me because when I was little, it was like, oh, you look like Pocahontas. Like it was just annoying because people fetishize Pocahontas, which is actually a very tragic story. It's not a romantic story, but her name wasn't even Pocahontas. But anyways, but yeah, so it's just like I grew up with a lot of that kind of stuff. So I'm very closed in with my like indigenous culture because of how people have treated me and people that I know. I have a relative who wears his hair long who got locked in a school closet and the kids said they were going to cut his hair and they called him a whole bunch of homophobic stuff, but his hair's long because he wears his braids a certain way and it's like religious for him. So people say in America they like indigenous people, but I see a lot of prejudice with that too. So it's hard. Sadly, investing includes folks below middle class. It's hard to find reputable investment groups. Yes, it is. It is. I have someone who works in that I told you that that's what we're gonna do meetings and stuff. They work with people of all incomes and they're very good with investing and stuff. So I will be updating you guys on that too. And then I have a list that I don't want to make public, but I will be talking when we meet up, behind a safe wall. There's also companies that I found out contributed to this campaign. So I'm gonna be sharing that too. Wow, that's sad. See, that's disgusting. This is what I'm saying is it's very creepy how people fetishize cultures and stuff. It's weird. They think that it's a compliment, but it's really not a compliment. So yeah, I get that. Okay. Well, all right, guys, I'm gonna let you go because I gotta go. My son's gonna come back from school. Thank you for joining this live and sorry for me getting all impassioned, but I'm just frustrated because I'm like, people need to really see the indoctrination that's happening. Again, I don't have anything against Christians that are not white supremacists or white nationalists. I don't got nothing against you. You practice what you want to practice. I'm speaking about this form of Christianity that's trying to take over America. No es bueno. No es bueno. I'm going to be making a more in-depth video about this movement. I have notes. Okay. And I will be posting that video, but I just wanted to come live to a little bit rant, but a little bit tell you like we really need. Oh yes, I'm an activist, Miss Auntie K. Like my mother, I grew up with a mother who marched with the Black Panthers. I am very involved politically behind closed doors. It's just hard because like I be trying to start like tags and stuff, and the algorithm don't like me on YouTube, and then some people just refuse to. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to lose my platform, but I feel like this is why we have a platform, no? So, anyways, much love and light. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in. Many blessings to you. May the ancestors walk with you always. And I will be making a video tonight, guys. Much love. Bye, guys.